I would usually never do a presentation in a hat, but I've been outside all day and I really wanted to continue to do this outside. So I hope that it is okay that I'm wearing a hat. But previously, I asked to do my presentation on the benefits of music in an elementary school setting. And so then I kind of broadened it and did music in an elementary school setting in general. What are the effects? What can we do to help? What are some things that we can do? And so that is what I'm doing my presentation on. So to the next slide, and this first one is the effects of music on childhood development. And of course, there are some amazing effects. Since the beginning of human history, music has been used as a force for healing. And we have to take philosophy at Asbury, and so it was really, really cool to see Aristotle, and that he taught that when we hear music or poetry, our very soul is altered. And I love that because I love both music and poetry. I think it is so powerful, and it's powerful for our students as well. Unlike normal language, music activates every subsystem of the brain. So it activates all of the brain, including the structures involved in motivation and emotion. And I know that motivation and emotion is so powerful, especially when it comes to students, because they don't just need the content, but they need motivation day in, day out, and their emotional health. Also, we don't know, what they go through at home, what they see when they're at home, when they're not at school over the summer. So I think it's really important to know that it affects their emotion as well. This makes it especially effective in creating bonds between individuals and groups, which I found so amazing. We're asking them to work all the time in groups, and so it's really cool that it creates that bond with them too. See, the effects of music, we're still in that making music with others gives children a wonderful feeling of belonging to the group. Children who might have difficulty joining activities with others because they are shy, have limited English ability, or special needs can freely participate when it comes to music activity. And that is from Dr. Patricia Varden, the chair of the Early Childhood Education Department at Manhattan College. And I thought that was really cool because even in class, you all the time ask us to partner up and do this music activity. And even though we might have never ever worked with those people before, music brings us together. And I need to always remember that. If our children are having trouble at school, let's do something with music. Let's get everybody together. And hopefully that'll help as well. So this is a video. It's a TED Talk. Let's see if this works. It does not look like it's wanting to play for me, but in this video, for this couple minutes, I'll put the link on here, so maybe you can click on it and watch the whole TED Talk because it was awesome. It just talked about how it affects the brain, how music affects the brain, and just how, they show a child's brain with, just language, and you have a couple things firing, but with music, like all the brain is lit up. And I thought that to be so very cool. And so they were just talking, or he was talking about how music can bring us back to places that we remember. It can bring back memories. And so, in education, we want our children to take their knowledge with them. And so I thought that was so cool, and how music, oh, I remember, that song in this movie, but they can also say, oh, I remember that song whenever we did that activity. And so I kind of tied it in that way as well. So the next slide is, I always wondered, does it affect mental health? Even when I was in second grade, you would think that 7-year-olds and 8-year-olds don't worry about stressful things or their mental health, but they absolutely do. We had one little boy who was hospitalized actually for, the thoughts he was having, and it was because his parents were getting a divorce. And so even in an early childhood setting, music does affect their mental health in a very positive way. So the psychological effects of music can be powerful, and they're wide-ranging. Of course, music therapy is an intervention, and just a few slides over, I do talk about integrating, music into lessons and intervention. So it's sometimes utilized to promote emotional health, help patients cope with their stress, and boost psychological well-being. And some research even suggests that your taste in music can provide insight into different aspects of your personality, which is really cool because we all listen to different types of music. It also says that music can relax the mind, it can energize the body, and even help people better manage pain. So, here is when I was in the classroom, I would ask, like, what other potential benefits might music provide? And that's a good thing to think about. When my students are down, what can I do with music to help them energize themselves? What can I do? And so that is something I wanted my classmates to answer. Unfortunately, we can't. But I love that music therapy is used as an intervention in schools, and I love that I have a topic on mental health because that's so important, even in an elementary school. Um, Here's that integration of content areas. In education, we learn it's so important to integrate content to make sure, if you're talking about, maybe read about math, read about social studies, integrate as much as you can because that helps the child remember better. And so, integrating content with music is really the purpose of this slide, in my opinion. The main purpose of an integrated curriculum is to have a student-centered curriculum that engages students and improves student learning and increases student interest. And so I just always thought if I can integrate dance, if I can integrate music, if I can integrate all these different things, not only am I going to hold their attention, but I'm also going to help their mental health, and that is just so important to me. When students make all these connections and understand why they need to know certain skills or pieces of knowledge, the learning process becomes very positive. And so we'll see that if a student understands, I need to read so, I can work at this job, or, I need, to learn all of these different things because of this. It's just so very powerful. It is. And so I want to show you how I would integrate music to a whole school setting. I've had a while to think about this, so I am very excited to show you what I have. So I thought we could do like a little bit of integration between Native American culture and music and dance. And so here is the culture in synopsis. I won't describe it all, but if I had a third or fourth grade class, social studies is so important. So I'm integrating Native Americans and the Shawnee Indians because that is a tribe that lived in the bluegrass region of Kentucky before permanent settlements. And then there's a synopsis about what the play would be about. So right now I have developed this play that students can, of all grade levels can join in and be a part of music and dance in and out of school while still integrating social studies into their. And so I have music here. I have 2 songs that if we were in class, I would click on the links, but I can't. But I have 2 songs that we would play that they would dance to. When the students first enter the cafeteria, the Shawnee traditional song will be played, and they will help students that are Indian characters that will be moving to the music throughout the forest. And, I just have it what the students would be doing when I played those songs. This is my 3rd song for that. It's really, really cool. This. So I do have a class schedule. So I have Miss Wells' 3rd grade class, and I set up, this is what my normal day would, and this is my weekly schedule. So I have a weekly schedule for week 1, week 2. I've kind of mapped this out. I'm very hopeful that one day I can potentially use this. I spent a lot of time on this. I've had time, so this was very fun for me. For a few weeks here, what they would probably would practice that in contact with one of my clinical teachers and asked how long they usually practice school plays, and she let me in on that. And so 6 weeks is about how long they spend on them, and students eat it up. So she said they always do a very nice job. I even sketched out some of the might be a part. And then I also have a parent flyer. So we have the 3rd grade school play, the Shawnee Indian Hunt. I did Annie Mason Elementary. It's where I went to elementary school. I did it for April at 12 in the afternoon. It's really awesome. I put my email. So I would have parent involvement. I also have like a reflection that I created. I think, it's important for kids to let us know, Miss Wells, this music really helped me, or, no, it didn't help me. I think the music in this play would be so beneficial. I think getting them involved in something that not only, affected their mental health and made them feel as they are part of the group, but also You know, I'm also learning social studies while I do this. I'm also working with friends. I'm also learning a new skill. I'm trying the best I can. Um, you know, all of these things can motivate a student to be their absolute best. I'm actually going to go, let's see, I don't think I can go back to any certain slides, but I also incorporated in here like how I would, you know, if students are shy. A lot of our students sometimes don't like to share, you know, their talent with others, and that's completely okay. So I have on here, you know, obviously we need sets, and so we can also integrate art in the art room, so we can design sets. That's why I actually drew out those sets, is so students can actually draw the sets and paint the sets and be a part of that. Possibly even work with high schoolers. I thought about that too. Just different ways that I am like, my students can work on their mental health. We're integrating music. We are, you know, learning content. And I think a school play is just wonderful. You know, when I read and did all this research for this, I read that, you know, school plays, a lot of those students sometimes struggle with depression or mental health, and that's, you know, their character in that play helps them be a different person for a while. And, you know, that hit me really hard, and that's what inspired me to, you know, do this presentation with the school play. So I can definitely send this PowerPoint to you so you can look way deeper into the schedule. I knew that you didn't want me to go over all those schedules, but it's really, really awesome. I really hope you enjoyed it. And my next slide is just photography, but I will put that in APA format for you and get that to you very soon. So if you need anything else from me, do not hesitate to reach out, and I hope you're doing really well. So thank you very much, Dr. Campbell.